Hey y'all, welcome to Off the Beaten Path. My name is Cush.
My name is Breezy. On our podcast, we explore the great outdoors and the Second Amendment with a blend of culture,
comedy, and conversation. And oh yeah,
I'm making beats.
What's up, everybody? We want to welcome y'all back to the Off the Beaten Path. Y'all know me. My name is Cush. Y'all know my brother right here, Breezy, or Rob. Rob Coates Breezy. But we got another amazing guest. I know I've been saying amazing, special, informative guest, but we really make it a point to invite people on the podcast that are not only trailblazers, but are doing really cool stuff in the space. So I'm going to introduce her as Amber, but I want her to introduce herself to y'all because there's a laundry list of things she can introduce herself as, and I don't want to cap her off at just one thing. So Amber, for people who don't know you, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. That's good. That's good.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Amber G. Johnson. I am the founder of Gale's Futuristic Fire. I'm originally from Ellenwood, Georgia, and I serve the Georgia community at large as a firearms instructor and FFL dealer for my clients. I am extremely passionate about concealed carry, fashion, and safety, and I have been working in the industry since around 2019, 2020.
That's dope. Yeah, thank you. That's dope for several reasons. I'm gonna ask you a little bit of everything, but my first question is, because our goal is to bridge the gap, I want to understand how you got into the industry. I know I'm from the inner city. I know how I got into gun ownership. It wasn't legal. It wasn't until I was a man that I realized I needed a concealed carry permit. I needed to train regularly and really just know my rights. And I know for a lot of Black, Latino, urban, city folk, Asian, it don't matter, women, it don't matter what it is. We just don't know sometimes our rights, and we don't know how to get into firearms. You know, I know in the hunting world, that's usually generational. So my question is to you is, are you like the first generation in your family getting into guns, or is that firearms has been part of your family's background?
I say first generation firearms industry professional, but I am not the first generation firearms owner in my family. My daddy actually taught me how to shoot a BB gun in our backyard when I was a kid, and I got too good at it too fast, and he kind of took it away from me. So that is my origin story. But if I were talking to 8-year-old, 9-year-old me and told her that I was in the gun industry now, she wouldn't believe me.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So that's cool. So your daddy got you into firearms. Now, is that something that was passed down from his dad, or that's cool? So
yeah,
three generations right there.
Yeah, it's actually 4.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's cool. So so you're comfortable around guns since you were little.
Absolutely.
Cool. What did you go out hunting, or was it more for self-defense? The firearm ownership, like with your dad.
So my introduction to it was really just for sport, shooting cans and small game in the backyard. Nothing that I got a chance to eat because we were using BBs.
Yeah.
But my dad grew up hunting with dogs with his dad, and my grandparents, their parents, actually kept a shotgun, behind the door. So there's different avenues that they've taken with firearms ownership, whether it be for hunting or self-defense or just sport.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love hearing that. Go ahead, Bree. Sorry.
I was gonna. It's funny because I have 2 daughters. One's 6 and one's 3, and she sees enough to know like we're in the gun space and I have guns around and we talk about it. And she was asking about, Daddy, when can I get a gun today? On her way from, she's like, I just want a BB gun. Like, she was very specific. I said, okay, baby girl. So it's cool because I think of the times when my dad got me my first BB gun and I was running around the backyard like I was hunting big game, but really it was like clapping lizards on the fence out back, you know?
Yes.
But it was cool because it's a core memory, and even though it's a BB gun, you know, my dad
Still a
still,
firearm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's still instilled on me like you could still hurt someone, including yourself. So
Yeah.
I
What's
love
the
to hear
famous
stories
line
like
from the Christmas story?
shoot
You're
your
gonna
try
shoot
out,
your
kid.
eye
Shoot
out.
your eye out,
I don't know
kid.
how I didn't either.
It's funny. That's how I started my son with a BB gun, and I
Okay.
started with a slingshot when I was a kid.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, like, did you know when you first started shooting the BB gun, even like, oh yeah, I really like this. This is something I can get, or I want to explore more. You know, like,
Absolutely.
okay,
I'm the 007 generation. So my neighbor, I was the only girl in the neighborhood. We used to go to his house when they wanted to play the little NFL games. I was like, let's play 007. And they didn't want to
yeah,
play with me because I was bad.
you're
I
really
knew
out
what
there
I was
sharpshooting,
doing.
huh? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
with
Yeah,
just the video game.
yeah.
So me knowing what I know now, it's definitely something that I should have been on the path to do a long time ago.
So, did you continue shooting as a teenager? Because I know when we're teenagers, our interests evolve. Like Breezy, he said it. I mean, on almost a few episodes now, but like his dad was a all out outdoorsman, like Ninja Turtle type of dude. Everybody knew him. He hunted big game, and Breezy was like all into it. And then when he was like, "Yo, I got a car and skateboard, man. I want to go
Yeah.
hunt." Was
Start
that
hitting
kind
those
of like?
teenage years and
Yeah, did
yeah,
you
I'm
go
curious.
left?
That's a great question because I was thinking the same thing. Did you stay with it?
Yeah, so it actually wasn't something that we kept up with. I was
Mm.
not introduced to shooting sports or competitions and things like that. That's just not something we really knew about. I'm pretty sure my parents would have put me in those things. I did a lot of like ranch camps, so like horseback riding, archery. So
Wow.
I floated around the subject matter, but I actually took up volleyball and shot put after a certain age. So
Really?
those were my main focuses up until college.
You were born and raised in Georgia?
I was, yes.
Okay,
That's
cool, cool.
cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so you had
So,
everything at your disposal. Like you could go do pretty much anything out there.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
then
awesome.
tell us how you got back into it and decided like, man, this is gonna be a career path for me. Did you get into it just like as a hobby? Like when you first started getting back into it, and then you thought to yourself, oh, I have a career here, or how did that happen?
I actually bought my first firearm when I was 21 for my birthday, and I had to go pick it up at an FFL, and I really didn't like the experience I had with the
Mm,
just waiting on the ATF to approve it and dealing
Yeah.
with the manager at the time who was working at that specific store. It was just weird.
Mm,
But I actually officially joined the industry when I was 23, and it was a really stressful day. I decided to go for a run to a gun store, and it was completely empty. And well, I should say a gun range, and it was
yeah.
completely empty. I was the only one there. It was a range. They're no longer in business, but it was called Stoddard's, and they had this thing called a counter proficiency test where you had to show the sales associate that you know how to properly handle a firearm. I unloaded it. Come to find out, the employees were betting that I didn't know what I was doing. Went on the range.
Wow.
The managers were watching me through the viewing windows and on the cameras. And next thing I knew, I was talking to a manager about how I got into firearms, and I was offered a job.
Wow.
really? No
That's
way.
fire. Yo,
Yeah,
hit the horn, bro.
yeah.
Hit
I
the
gotta
horn,
cue it up,
bro.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. Yo, that's
What a
dope.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
dope. So,
amazing.
man, you're like an onion, girl. There's so many layers to your story. So I want to tell the people what the ATF called you when you went and got your FFL. You were the youngest.
Oh yes, the youngest black women weapons dealer in the
That's
world.
amazing.
That's
It
That
was
amazing.
an exaggeration, of course, saying the world, because of course
yeah,
we're in Georgia. But
yeah,
we, of course, in the initial interview is a couple hours at your actual home, depending on
yeah.
where you decide to start your business. And there were two agents, one that was extremely senior, another that was in training. And I say extremely senior as in he told me he was planning to retire soon. So
Wow.
if he felt very proud to be able to usher me into this experience. And when I decided to look into future locations, I actually came across another African American woman who was an ATF agent, and she was helping me transition from different locations. And she was like, "I've out of all the years I've been in this business, I've never come across a Black woman."
Wow. So you are literally Black History during Black History Month.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. That's so incredible because I've said this a few times on this podcast. We're not like we don't try to push the whole DEI thing, but we do believe in representation. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife is Black, I'm Latino. My children are a beautiful blend of both. His wife is Black. He's obviously white, but his little girls they're just beautiful blends. And growing up, me personally, I didn't look up and see like, oh man, I thought, oh, we could just buy a gun. Breeze, we've told this story how many times? We opened up a business and he's like, yo, you gonna bring the gun, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, but you got your license? I was like, license? I don't need no license.
What I need that for?
I'm gonna just clutch up. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, bro. So
it's legal. I might as well just have it. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So I think it's really dope, like your background and how you get up to where you're offered a job. Just that little cluster of time in and of itself is amazing. Now I do want to pause here because this podcast is called Off the Beaten Path, and as you can see, Breezy has NPC drum there. So Breeze, come on, bro. Let us hear the sample you're
tonight. Let's see if you know what this is. Amber might too. Let's see if y'all recognize this.
Yeah. It's like cutting in and out, but yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, is it?
Okay. Yeah, it is in and out a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
I can tell.
Yeah. We'll see what that. Yeah, that was from
Django.
That was from Django.
Yeah, that's one of those. Is that when it goes slow motion?
I think that's when he's like. I think that plays a couple times because I can picture him at the end with Kerry Washington when they're like, I'm pretty sure they're riding off.
And I think after he's killed everybody.
Yeah, and that starts playing. It plays a couple times, yeah.
Okay.
So he'll be chopping that beat up while we have this conversation. You'll see him. He'll pop in and out of the conversation, and by the time we're done, so like what?
See if I chef up something over here. I'll be off in the you'll see me.
Hole.
I go off in the rabbit hole. Yeah, I go rogue. But I'll check in with y'all every now and then. You see me look up like, what are they talking about? All right, cool. I'll go back.
All right. So while he works on that, man, I've known you. We've known each other for what, a year now, right?
Yeah.
And I know we've been in contact, and over that year, I've learned to admire you for who you are. Never mind the woman part, but just as a business professional in the space, because I love how you carry yourself, and it crosses on all your platforms. And I know some people know you as an influencer. I met you as a business owner. I know you're an influencer too, but I look at you as a businesswoman, and I love that you're the youngest Black FFL in the state of Georgia, or in the country rather. I want to talk to you about, I don't know, it says it, the people can read it, founder of Gale's Futuristic Fire. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I while I was in grad school, I joined the industry, and a few times people stopped me at the range and asked me why I was not doing this myself. And I was convicted because I'm in grad school, but at the time I was actually using my lunch breaks to be in my classes for grad school virtually. Yeah. So 80% of my time was being spent at the gun range. So It had never crossed my mind that I could be using the degrees I had to influence the industry in any type of way. But I want to make sure I don't get too far off and make sure I'm answering your question.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, how did you, like, what was it? Was that what caused you to start Gale's Futuristic Fire? Is it just because you got a lot of questions?
I got a lot of questions, and then I ended up being called even when I was off work to go to the range with people.
Cool. And so, what is Gale's Futuristic Fire like? What's y'all's mission? Like, what do you do on a day to day? What do you do for the community? And I know that you empower women, but there's going to be so many people who don't know what you do. Tell us, like, what's Gale Futuristic Fire in that capacity?
Understood. So our mission is to protect the present to preserve the future. I
That's
come
right.
across a lot of women who want to protect their children, their future children, themselves. So I actually came up with that slogan because ultimately I believe in the concept of Sankofa, which is to look forward but also reach back. We're
Yep.
reaching back to ancestors, reaching back in histories and understanding how we got here today,
Yep.
but also to gain a better understanding of the foundational principles needed to thrive in the future. And when you look at different points in history, especially when you think about women's history and Black history, women are the core. So I believed that in order for us to have those strong communities, women needed to be protected, and they needed to know how to protect themselves.
Yeah. Well, not
So
100%. You're spot on in everything you said. And, the last few guests that we've had have all been women. And I'm going to say this again. It might sound a little redundant for people who are tuning in regularly, but I love the communal aspect that women have versus men, because we can be super competitive. And I said this before. I know that there's certain women out there that are catty, but in this particular space, this is one of the few spaces where you can say, "Yo, I don't know," and people want to pour into you. And I've seen that more with women than any other demographic in the space. So I love that you're building and fostering a community of women in Georgia, because I mean, man, where is it? The entire state of Georgia? Or are you like focused on Atlanta or suburbs of Atlanta or Savannah? Like, what's your core demo out there?
So I do serve the metro Atlanta area, but I've traveled to Athens and Thomasville, which are like two polar opposites of the state, to
Yep,
actually host what's is referred to shoot, sip, and shop.
yep.
It's in collaboration with my Profite, and Profite is essentially someone who crossed into sorority before I did in the same chapter.
Wow.
So she hit me
Hey,
up,
what's the word are you with?
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Oh, Delta. What?
Yes.
All right. I see.
Yes.
I
So in
see.
different capacities, I've hosted free opportunities where they just provided me room and board, and I came to instruct women
Yep.
and their children about gun safety and gun ownership. I've done women's health symposiums for my organization for different chapters in the area. I've also led different efforts for even my own students at reduced prices, where they received goodie bags they had no clue that they would be
Yeah.
receiving, with gun locks and ear protection and eye protection, things that they would need if they
Yeah.
decided to come back to the range in the future.
So now, is your focus exclusively women?
It is. It is.
I love that. I love that. And how many? So wait. So how long has Gale's Futuristic Fire been around?
We've been in business since September of 2022.
That's beautiful. And how many women would you say you've reached, like, in that time?
In that time period, I've served exactly 126 women.
Wow.
Yeah, and the main focus and goal as a certified instructor is to serve 20 women a year.
That's cool. And I don't think people realize, like, that's like some really good steady growth, because I mean, it says a lot that you'll take your time and donate it up for to push the movement forward. It speaks to your character, it speaks to your core beliefs, but it's also like on the business side, you're scaling up, right? You want to hit 20, and then eventually it'll just come to a place where, like, you're going to need to hire people. And so
Yeah.
that's really dope to see how you're navigating the space. And I'm really pro you. I love advocating for you, and I'll always offer up any way we can help. But I want to give you your flowers while you're here, because the conversations we're having are of people moving the space forward. But what I love significantly about you is that you are focused on the metro Atlanta area, and so many folks in the inner cities don't know about firearms the legal way. And so literally my hat's off to you
Thank
for
you.
that, because man, that's a very big task for a big old city like Atlanta. But man, to serve that many people, I know we're just now in 2025, but that's still a lot of people. So what's the experience like? So you started off as a shooter, as someone who was an enthusiast. Now you're on the teaching side. You get one-on-one with these women. Do you see most women are excited, or are they kind of scared, or are they kind of like, oh, I don't know how to handle the firearm? What is that experience like for you? I guess on both sides. As an enthusiast, are you excited for them? And then as an instructor, are you like so eager about them learning that it's just like, I want to continue to do this like forever?
I'd say as a shooter, as an enthusiast, I'm on sort of like I'm at a sweet spot, because they don't get the same type of care and attention that they would get from someone at the gun store who just wants to sell them something. And usually it's like something pink or purple, right? So I introduced them things like Cerakote, so they're able to go to a gunsmith and ask specifically what they need, and they don't get scammed. That's the best way to put it, because people will add an extra couple of dollars if they don't think you know what you're talking about, right? And then I also get that experience to be able to usher them into the firearm safety space. So they're afraid, they're nervous. Some of them have had weird situations in Ubers where the doors were locked on them when they tried to get out. Domestic violence situations. They might not go all the way into detail, but every woman that comes to me is there for a reason. And I'm able to see them go from unable to breathe, shaking, jumping at every shot that's happening in the range, that's happening in other lanes, to feeling more comfortable, dry firing at home, calling me up like, when we gonna go to the range. There's a different energy that shifts from being on the range once to 3 times with me. So I take pride in being able to do that in a intimate space, one-on-one, even though there's been a few obstacles with developing range partnerships and using range classroom spaces, because I'm not the first to do this here in Atlanta. There was a woman that was instructing, doing large scale events, and I actually worked as her RSO before I started to do this on my own. And I was able to witness the things that we as women experience, even firearms instructors experience in general, just dealing with the hierarchy that happens when you're trying to develop partnerships with ranges. So I was able to learn a lot in my time working for ranges and working for other instructors before I truly jumped into the game. So I'm really thankful for those learning experiences. And I try to take what I've learned and make sure that my students are handled with care.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of that, especially the selling like pink and blue teal guns or to women, and that's actually one of the questions I'll ask you towards the end. But man, I want to talk about like that walking into that space. I think part of it is that it is a male dominated space. What is that like for you as an instructor? I know you said there are some obstacles there for you when developing range partnerships, and it's got to be tough. One, you're a woman, right? So men in the space, and I know this because I've seen it. It's kind of like, well, that's a woman. Like, she like you said, when you went to the range, they all had a bet like she don't know what she's doing. So I know there's that barrier of like the preconceived notion of just because I am a woman, you think I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But then there's the actual partnership. What is that like for you as a business owner? Does it make it difficult to navigate the local area, or how do you overcome that obstacle?
Oh, it's definitely difficult.
Yeah.
But I have to ensure that my skills speak before I do.
Mm.
And that is something I've had to learn, because men in this industry will provoke you to react emotionally. And that's just not something that we as women in this industry can afford, because when you make emotional decisions, you don't get what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've had to lead with my skills, but also be serious in making sure that people know that they can't play with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, of course, there's issues with having to book range spaces, and people don't want to respond to emails. Like, I've had, situations where I would ask them for a range partnership, and they responded to my email about their future handgun one class. And I
Wow.
just sent you my certification. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah. I know here in Florida, there's been a few ranges around here that have like this standoff. And I don't know, but my educated guess is that the assumption there is just going to be like, oh, there's no proper training. But people don't realize, like, just because we might be first generation or from a different background doesn't mean that we don't know our way around a firearm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that you're an RSO and that you're a trainer and that you're basically making the room for yourself. You're like, yo, hold on. I belong in this space. I thrive in this space, and I'm bringing a new demographic into this space and empowering women. And I want to talk about that too, because that's been a few comments were said about women who have experienced uncomfortable situations, to say the least. And so I love that what you're doing is quite literally pouring into these women's confidence level. Like, you're giving them a boost of like self-confidence, self-preservation, self-preparation to when they're out in the world. If and when they are carrying a firearm, they're confident about engaging someone if it comes down to that. So that's really cool, the level of work you're doing. What do you see like in the future for you, like for Amber and then for Gale's Futuristic Fire?
Wow.
You don't have to give super details if you don't want to.
I honestly see myself like unity is the main focus, because I do
Yeah.
understand that who holds the power in this space, right?
Yeah.
I see myself working as a consultant for multiple firearms manufacturers and holsters who are seeking to reach the fastest growing demographic in the industry, which is Black women.
Black women. Yep. Yep.
And I think right now, a lot of them are getting a lesson in how they move forward in advertising, especially when we're talking about the whole DEI rollout and our women are, or rollback, I should say,
Yep.
and how Black women are standing strong and boycotting against certain businesses. So
Yep.
I think they'd like to, even though we aren't the largest demographic for their services, I believe that what's currently going on right now is going to be able to influence how they do marketing in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the NSSF has the data backing that the African American female gun ownership is the biggest demo, and then right behind that, it's women as a whole, and then it's Black men, Latino men, and then everybody else falls underneath that. So you're spot on with that. And then, man, my mind just kind of went somewhere else.
I can finish
Because,
answering your question too.
yeah, please, yeah, please.
Yeah, so on the Gale's Futuristic Fire side, I see myself continuing to educate, but also opening the door up for speaking engagements and presentations that are more so on the corporate side of things via team building exercises.
That's dope. That's dope. Now, I want to talk to you about your social media
Okay.
because I know you've gone viral. I can't count how many times for women and how they carry, because you make carrying look fashionable. It's not like all tacked out and like, I
No
got a bug
flannels,
out.
no leggings.
Yeah, no bug out bags, and
Yeah.
like you make it look like I can walk into a corporate job and carry comfortably. So talk to us about that. Like, what was excuse me, what was the, did you do that because that's how you carry in these corporate spaces? Or did you do that because like, I don't want to do content that's already out there. I want to do stuff that I like. Or was it a hybrid?
It was a bit of a hybrid. I actually, when I started talking on Twitter, now X, about concealed carry, most of the conversations was like, well, how do you carry? Show us how you carry. I like to see a plus size woman who can carry like me. And I was just like, well, I guess I can just set the tripod up and record myself. So the idea was sort of born out of me spitballing ideas with my nephew.
Yeah.
And well, he was like, well, get ready with me is a really big thing right now. Why don't you just do get ready with me with concealed carry? Because I haven't seen anybody do it. And literally it just took off.
Yeah.
And I actually like it. I love fashion. I love to get dressed. And I wasn't expecting like period panty companies and
Yeah.
shapewear companies to reach out. It wasn't my target audience, but I realized I was actually reaching my target audience of women.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
that counts for a lot.
yeah.
And so, I mean, we're here on camera, but tell people how tall you are. Because when we met last year, I was like, man, I wonder if she's short, she's tall. And then I looked and I was like, oh, she's tall. So tell
You
people how
met me
tall
with
you are.
heels. You met me with
Yeah.
heels, but I'm
Yes.
5'9".
You're 5'9", but with heels on, you were what, like
I was a
6 feet?
good 6'2".
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily. Because I remember I was looking up at you and I was like, wow, she's a tall woman. And I love
Yeah.
that. Like, I love, because there are certain women that are your height, literally at like 5'9" and up, that just won't wear heels. And you're like, nah, I own this. I look good in it and I'm comfortable in it. So I love that you're creating content on the influencer side for tall women, women who are in corporate America. Have you had the opportunity to work with some of these companies about concealment? Like maybe it's the strap companies, the holster companies. Have you gotten to like do any brainstorming or ideation with them about designing potentially garments for taller, full-figured women?
I'm glad you asked because it seems the conversation that I have had, my ideas sort of have just been like, well, that doesn't work for everybody, and
Yeah. It's always a
it's just,
barrier.
mm-hmm.
It's always a barrier. It's
Yeah,
always a barrier. Like I know, and she's a mutual contact between us, Erica, who I love so much. She loves your content. I told her you were going to be on the podcast. She goes, "Oh my god, I can't wait to watch," because you speak to her. You speak to her. You know, she's full
yes,
figured. She
yes.
has a big bust, and she knows that like I can conceal up here more than most women can conceal on their waist. And when she said that to me, I was like, I've never thought about that. I've never, as a man, I have never thought about, oh, I can conceal on my chest. You know what I'm saying? I know they have the holster. What is it? The over the shoulder holsters for men,
Right.
like,
Which is like
but
for a vest or something, but we don't wear
yeah,
those. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was just about to say that women don't wear that. I mean, not that y'all would want to either. I don't think,
Right.
unless you're like legit going. Yo, I saw that face you made. Sorry, Amber. Is that beat coming out good?
It's creeping up. It's getting the ingredients in. It's marinating a little bit,
All I hear is excuses.
simmering a little bit.
I was gonna say I've actually recently reached out to some companies because capital is a really big thing, and I knew that I wanted to provide genuine reviews of folks products without sort of spending too much money. So I wanted to build the reputation before reaching out. I know that seems kind of backwards. Some people like,
No,
but I
not at
wanted to
all.
make sure that I knew that they were watching me before I reached out.
Yeah,
So it's like, look, I have people who buy whatever I tell them to.
yeah,
So what you want to do?
yeah, yep. And that's. I love that you can acknowledge that you're the door for your community that you're building and that you're growing from the ground up. Because tell the folks on your Gale, no, not Gale, on your personal Instagram how much you've grown your following. What's your follower count at?
I think it's at 19.3 thousand right now.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
I think I was at 10,000 remap.
What is that?
I think I was at, that was a
Crowd
crowd.
clapping.
Yeah.
Oh, a crowd.
How about
I
this
think
one?
it
An idea. It was like a bell.
oh, okay. It was a little pitchy on my
Like
end.
Yeah.
stop with the sound effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was you read my facial expressions.
Yeah, you see, I'm like a little kid over here with noises and pads.
No, you're good. You're good. But I, when I came to SHOT Show in 2024, I had just reached that 17,000 mark. But
Yep.
when I started making content in November 2023, I only had 5,000 followers.
Wow. So you blew it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's cool. I love that you're able to identify that you are a voice in the door for your community, because man, I've had some really high level conversations, Rob, too. A lot of companies like to do one off work, and I detest one off work, especially when I work with influencers and other businesses where, okay, if you send a product out, that's cool. But these influencers can't pay bills with not just a product. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting these companies to understand, like, hey, there's money here for y'all, but y'all have to invest the money too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a few companies, like we've talked to them about marketing with social media influencers, and I know some influencers think they are the marketing team, and nah, it's just a branch of marketing. But that's not me downplaying the power of social media. That's just me saying, like, influencers got to be realistic about their expectations too. And I also echo that on the side of corporations, because, like, y'all, I'm not gonna allow any conversations that I have to undervalue people that I work with, because I know how hard it is to grow a community, foster that community, and become the authority for that community. You know, like you and our big headed brother Lito, RGG. If he tells his community, like, yo, I believe in this product, it's because he's tested it out. He's either used the ammo or the firearm or the holsters or the optics, and they know and trust that he's done his work with it. So when he says, yo, it's good, and his following decides to start buying, that's an uptick in business. You know what I'm saying? And you can't just downplay that, because it goes, like, for you, Amber, I send you a firearm. I don't expect you tomorrow, this week, or even in 3 weeks from now to create content. I want you to, like, get comfortable with it, put some stuff down range, and really figure out, like, do I actually like this product, or am I just going to give it a good review because they paid me? You know what I'm saying? So there's that type of resistance too. And I'm all for authenticity. I don't want to say this is a good product just because they either gave it to me for free or paid it. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. I get that, and I love that, and respect that with you and how you have these conversations. So are you going to continue creating content as an influencer? Because you blew that up, like, well, unintentionally, right? You just started creating.
Yeah, it was unintentional. I actually took a fast to ask God to give me direction about what to do moving
Come on
forward.
now.
Because
I love that.
you know,
Talk that talk, Amber. Talk that talk. I fasted so I could hear God.
Yeah.
I fasted so I could hear God.
Yeah, because we get caught up in capitalism. We get caught up on just making videos for video's sake. And and I had to really ask God, like, okay, so what do you want me to do with this? Like, you brought me to this industry, so you order my steps. And I had to get serious about that. Instead of just spitballing, posting whatever, I had to say, okay, what is my value? And God kept reminding me, like, you are smart. It's like my degrees all apply to this industry in some sort of way. I've done the research, I've done the interviews, qualitative data, quantitative data. You know, I could make a role for myself at any company, but God put Gale's Futuristic Fire on my heart. So it's like, okay, if you are the representation, then you need to be sharing what you know in your own words, from your own experiences. It needs to be digestible to the women that are following you. Like 80% of my followers are women.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, you just made me fall in love just a little bit more with your mission, because we've said this story up I don't know how many times, but we had a physical recording studio for 7 years. The last work we did with that business was HBO work, so we were doing high level work, but we had a faith awakening, and we prayed on it really long, not long time, but like intentionally long. Like we spent time with it. We asked God, and I remember when God shifted my heart and spoke to me. It was a apex of things that happened in that specific time that I was like, Lord, what do you want me to do? Because I have all these gifts, I have the background, I just don't have the direction right now, because I'm ready to walk away from this business. And this is something Breezy and we're super intentional. We've told people, companies, influence, it don't matter. We pray over our meetings. We pray before our podcast. We
I
pray
prayed before this. Yeah.
I mean, rewind even before that, we were smack dab in the middle of a pandemic. We weren't even sure when that popped off if we were going to have a studio and what was going to happen and what that was going to look like. So
and Biz blew up during the pandemic.
Right. Yeah. And it's crazy how God will open doors and close doors. And when you look back, you see it, because that's how Cush got into the industry. Kind of unintentionally as marketing. And it opened that door for him, like, yo, Breezy, I know we've been trying to figure out what we're going to do. I think we take what we do, our audio backgrounds, the media stuff, jump in, pivot into this outdoor firearm 2A space, and we can go crazy. Yeah. And like you said, we were praying on it, and because it's tough. It was tough, at least for me. I know he had made his decision, but I was like, we had put so much. You know how it is. We put so much blood, sweat, and tears into building this brand and this name, and it was tough for me to just say, like, walk away from it. And it was amazing how God delivered that message to me personally. It was time to close that door.
And we had just signed. We just renewed our lease. Like, the landlord knew, like, yo, that money's good. It's gonna come. Yeah. And he worked with us when things got tough, because there was times hurricanes would hit. Yeah. So,
or even the pandemic, he was like, yo, I'm not gonna raise y'all rent at all. I know things that we don't even know what's going on right now. I got people closing their businesses, that have had business with me for 20 whatever years that were non-essential, and now they're out of business. So it was what a crazy time in the world, right?
But so we closed our doors, and man, we just trusted the Lord. Like, we had like a year to figure out brand, mission, like pray on it, figure it out, and how we're gonna navigate it, and what are we gonna do. And Breezy will tell you, I'm a relationship beast. I stay with all my contacts, not for the sake of contacts or be able to say I have relationships. No, I genuinely like speaking to people about like growth, about development, about evolving. And so a lot of the conversations, when I first got my feet wet in the space, I was the marketing manager for an ammunition company. So a lot of those relationships, it's ammunition. Who don't want ammo? Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was really cool to see how people.
I was just thinking that too. I'm like,
he was the plug. Yeah.
But what I did is I identified an avenue of because I remember I told the C-suite, I'm gonna identify a new avenue of business my way, because I'm from the city. I know like, okay, I see what the typical thing is, but I don't see the representation in the space. You know what I'm saying? And so when it came time for me and Breezy to prop up our business, we were very intentional on like, hey, we want to bring representation. So we want to tell high level stories on the production side, because we are a vertically integrated business. We own all our media stuff. So we want to tell high level stories there. But then on this side, we can help y'all bridge the gap between the urban and outdoor markets. Like, you don't necessarily speak the lingo, you don't know what the voice sounds like. All of that goes into the psychology of the consumer and how money is spent. And it's not to say, like, we're just a dollar, because I know the shoe industry looks at minorities like just dollar. We're just dollars.
Yeah.
But it's to say, no, there's a real community here of Black, Latino, and all these other ethnic groups who have created small pockets of communities across the country. Ain't nobody telling their stories.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody like marketing with them. It's just now, like just within the last year or so, I start seeing more advertising and marketing using Black shooters, Latino shooters, Asian shooters. So I love that. But everyone knows that our industry is 10 years behind. You know what I'm saying? So it's a slow grind, but it's a grind, and it's worth the grind, especially if you're intentional. So I know I was just rambling, but I love that you said you fasted to take a step back, and you said, Lord, you put me in this position. You gave me these gifts. Let me know what I should do. Yeah. And I don't think people realize it's easy. I call it a gamble when you roll the dice, but now with my newfound faith, it ain't no gamble. I'm confident. I've always walked in authority even before my faith, but now with my faith, it's like it don't matter. It doesn't sway me. I'm not chasing you for no business.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna do what we do. And if you wanna be part of it, cool. And if not, cool. God bless you.
Yeah.
So, hats off again.
There it is. Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm glad you talked about that, because I've gone through actually 3 different pivots with this business in general. I started out with a group with men. And my heart was broken when they tried to take the idea and enter pitch competitions. And I went through a name change. I went through idea changes. I went through wondering, okay, what am I going to trademark? What am I going to patent? So, and now I'm working by myself, but I know who I can trust, because I literally put everybody on the altar.
Yeah.
I said, God, who can I work with? Because I cannot move forward with emotional decisions, right? And I also can't move forward with a lack of trust, because you're opening this door.
Man. Yeah. So true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just listening to you explain that, it's amazing how much necessity can drive you sometimes, right? Like when it's all on you. We had that saying a lot at the studio, square shoulders, because it fell squarely on our shoulders.
Yes.
Like you only see the pretty stuff, right? The front facing Instagram, and it's like behind the scenes, sometimes we had to figure it out. It was ugly. You know what I'm saying? In the weeds, we're in the swamplands. Forget the weeds, trying to find.
Amber, let me tell you a story real quick. There was a point we were without water at the studio.
Well, that was kind of us, kind of the city, but
it was more the city. He always does that. He'll say, "Oh, it was more the city." Yeah. They had us down like we were like the amount of water we were using.
Like we're the Miami Seaquarium or something. I don't even know
he's
if
like,
exists anymore.
Are y'all serious? Like,
yeah, I was like, why is our bill so high? It was it was a whole.
And then they came out. No, it's on y'all. It's on y'all. We're like, hey, we'll pay it if you can prove that it's us. Yeah. But we were calling our own guys to come out. They're like, nah, it's the city. Yeah. And when we got our landlord involved, he goes, y'all have been going back and forth with the city for how long? We're like, right now we're at 3 months. He's like, nah, let me make some phone calls.
Absolutely.
So he called it, but hats off to Breeze too, because he thugged it out.
I had to.
Yeah,
I got all the way up to the manager over there. I was like, we got to figure something out.
And between him, the manager, and I think the phone call that the landlord put in, it was like, okay, we came to an agreement, and they had to come out and like really fix the water piping. So yeah, I say that because, man, when you own your own business and it's all on you, it can be a burden. But now with our faith and how we're moving, look, ain't no burdens. God got us. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
hold
it.
on, we've been talking for a lot. Yo, Breeze, I need to hear something, bro. Come on, man.
Let's see what we got over here, man. Let's see what we got. Let's see.
Oh, that sounds terrible, bro. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, yo! I thought that was Amber, bro.
No.
What?
I thought she was going like.
Right on beat.
Yeah, I was like. Yeah, I like that.
I'm a bit
I like that.
musically inclined, so I catch on fast.
It sounds like the drum slaps me in my face, which I love.
Good.
I love the
Yeah.
drum hitting me in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So Amber, 3 questions before we wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Did you already
Ready?
ask her? Well, you
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no.
Go ahead.
Off body or
Okay.
on body carry, and why?
Oh, on body.
Why?
Anything off body can be taken from you.
Mm.
And of course, you can argue that anything on body can be taken from you as well.
Yeah,
You
but
can you can argue that anything on body can be taken
Yeah,
from you as
yeah.
well. But the closer proximity is to your center of gravity, the better chance you have to ward someone off.
Okay. Now, AR, AK, or shotgun, and why?
AR.
Why AR?
AR is my first love.
Because it's
Yeah.
AR, right?
Yeah.
What do you
I
carry, by the
I
way?
love my shoulders.
Yeah.
I love my wrists.
Yep.
And ARs are simply just
Butter.
butter. Yeah. And I've shot a couple suppressed. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
man. Listen. Now, Breeze, you're the last one. The last question
Yeah,
is
well,
on you.
we're still in the first quote. What's your everyday carry? What do you carry?
Oh, right now, 19X.
Okay.
Fire. Now, if the world is coming to an end, zombie apocalypse is happening, there's people raiding pantries and grocery stores, and you can only have one other person to your side. Is it going to be John Wick? Who else? Breeze?
Or Jason Bourne?
Or Jason Bourne?
It's so funny that you asked me that because I had somebody in mind who is not.
Who?
Okay. Who's
Y'all
the
have
dog?
no clue who he is.
Who is he?
One of my really good friends. His name is Alexander Harris Jr.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like
That
an
guy,
actual
huh?
person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. The Audible. I like that.
Yeah.
So of course I could choose John Wick, but John Wick has a bit of a superiority complex, and I might be a liability to John Wick 5 minutes in.
Yeah, I think John Wick's like 9-0 now. So
I think we got to figure out.
maybe we got to find out like more of his equal. Yeah.
Yeah. Who would be? We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Who the hell knows? But Amber, we want to thank you for being on this episode. I love what you're doing in the Atlanta area, in Georgia, really. I love how you're serving your community. I love that you're very focused on women empowerment, women protection. I love the just the approach to everything you do, and you do it so eloquently, which I love and admire. So before we hang up, I want you to tell people where they can find you. Give us your website and your socials.
All right. You can find me personally at the Amber GJ, TheAmber, G as in Gale, J as in Johnson. And my business page is Gale's Futuristic Fire, GAYLES FUTURISTICFIRE. And my website is futuristicfire.com. Same spelling.
That's awesome. Yo, so have you ever played GTA?
I have.
So
it's
you
not
know
my
what
favorite style. It's not.
Okay. But you know what mission accomplished is, right?
I do.
Okay, come on, Breezy.
Is it time? Are we doing, yeah, mission accomplished?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, y'all, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time, see y'all.